Welcome to Programming Fundamentals from the Ground Up. Today we're going to be solving a real programming problem using loops. I have chosen the site Project Euler. You can reach this site by going to projecteuler.info, and then you can click on the Problems tab, and then this will just give you a list of programming problems. Now, this site is a great site for practicing your programming skills, practicing your math, and today we're going to just look at the first problem here. Now, you might be thinking, if you've been following along with our tutorials, that you might not actually know enough to start solving real programming problems, but you actually do. We're going to solve this problem using a for loop. So this problem says, if we list all the natural numbers below 10 that are multiples of 3 or 5, we get 3, 5, 6, and 9. The sum of these multiples is 23. Find the sum of all the multiples of 3 or 5 below 1,000. Now, the way this site works, it's a little bit different from some other sites where you just put in your code and it runs your code. This just asks for the answer here. So you can just go to Visual Studio Code, run it, and then get the answer, and then come back here. Initially, I will be giving just a chance for you to just solve this problem on your own. So if you want to just try to solve it now, you can pause the video. Then I will be giving a small hint, and maybe that will get you to the point where you can solve the problem. And then finally, I will show you my solution. Okay, so now we are here in Visual Studio's code. And I have put the problem here on top, so you don't have to go back and forth between the web page and your IDE window. This is another way of doing a comment. Like if you want to do a multi-line comment, you can do /*, put your comment, and then at the end do //. So I have the problem here. And before showing you my solution, I'll just give you a chance to work on it. Then I will give a hint, and then I will just go through the problem. So if you want to try this out yourself, you can pause the video now and give it a try. Okay, so if you got stuck, a hint here is you're going to need the modulus function. And if you don't remember the modulus function, you can go back to the video about variables in math, and I do a quick rundown of the modulus function there. Okay, now we are going to solve this problem. We are going to use a for loop, and we are going to use the modulus function. So to start, we're going to do var total equals 0. And at the end, we're going to just print out total once we add up all the numbers, and that will be our solution. So this is just going to be a running total. Every time we go through the loop, if it satisfies this condition, a multiple of 3 or 5, we'll just add it to total. And now we can do a for loop. For, and then var I equals 0. And we don't have to start at 0. Adding 0 to 0 is just not going to do anything, but it's just standard practice to start at 0. I is less than 1,000. And we're going to do ++ I. Now, you might have noticed with only 1,000, if you really just wanted to do this by hand, you could. You absolutely could. You could just do 3, then 5, then 6, then 9, and so on. And if you really, really wanted to do it, you could. But obviously, there's a much quicker way. We're going to just blast through the first 1,000 numbers in a for loop and add it to total if it satisfies our conditions here. We're going to add it to our total if it is a multiple of 3 or 5. So we're going to have an if statement here. So if I mod 3 equals 0. Remember, modulus, it divides it by this number and then returns the remainder. So if a number mod 3 is equal to 0, then you know it's a multiple of 3. And we're just also going to have an or here, or I mod 5 equals 0. And remember, an or statement just means that either side needs to be true for this entire statement to be true. So if it's a multiple of 3, this will be true. This whole thing will be true, even if it's not a multiple of 5. And then if both are true, then you're also fine. And now we're going to do total equals total plus I. And then we're just going to do console.log total. And this should be our solution. Now, as I was saying before, you could add this all by hand, but like, let's say it was the first million numbers, then you really couldn't. I mean, I guess theoretically you could, but like, eventually it'll get to be a point where it's like, you really can't, like you'll be spending days and days where it's like this whole program, it took us like 2 minutes to write. If you find yourself doing these problems and you're doing a lot of calculations by hand, there's probably a better way to do it. And you might just want to like take a step back and find some sort of programmatic solution. So let's go ahead and run this. So we got 233,168. So let's go ahead and put this into Project Euler to see if this is the correct solution. Okay, so here we are back in projecteuler.info. We're going to go here, the multiples of 3 or 5. Let's put in our sum, and then it's asking us for a confirmation code, making sure that it's not just a robot here. And yes, so we got this problem correct. So just using our fundamentals, we were able to solve this problem on Project Euler. And this is just a great site if you want to practice your programming, you want to practice some math, you can just go through and try some of these problems on your own. That's all that I have today. If you like this content, you can subscribe. There will be more programming tutorials, and soon I will be doing a deep dive into different apps to show how certain apps work. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.